Highlanders Football Club.
And Jussie, it's good to have you around, and happy Father's Day to you. It doesn't get bigger than this.
Thank you, Valentine. Happy Father's Day to you too, and also happy Father's Day to everyone and all fathers out there. And I hope this is going to be an electric one this afternoon. And of course, you know, it's a big game here at Baba Fields, Dynamos Highlanders. You know, obviously there is history in these two teams. You know, so we are looking forward to a very good afternoon.
Indeed, of course, having said that, we went to the streets of Bulawayo to find out what the fans are expecting, the atmosphere, the expectation, the excitement that this game brings. Let's take you to those streets and find out what they had to say.
Yes. I'm expecting a win for Highlanders. My scoreline, my prediction is 2-1 in favor of Highlanders. But I want to send a word out to those hooligans. In a match, there's a win, a draw, and a lose. Whichever way it goes, let's accept.
Yeah, I'm a ghost, one woman. Three ghosts children.
Inino manje ndakazvimirira manje sabota redzimbare nini tibarova vanhu zvinotomwisa mvura vangwa padhuzero chete ndo zvandinongofambira chete kunorova vanhu chete toda kutamba mvura ndo zvakanaka.
We say no to violence. This just to play football. Namkasi awina kwe
For Highlanders versus Dynamos, it's a big match. Everyone is looking upon the match. Everyone is happy. We are all happy. And yeah, we are expecting good results. You know, Zimbabwe is going to have the biggest team in Zimbabwe.
It's expecting win, but it's no problem. I'm fine. I'm tired of what I'm fine. I'm going to train. I'm going to win. I'm going to train. I'm going to train. Not nothing as close as it does now. But I wouldn't say to them, son.
Dynamos because the Highlanders saka the advantage of work on Dynamos tinazvamira zvakanaka kumano vese Highlanders.
Tabva kuHarare, Harare chapter HKT tenge tine tasire kuti tinowina tikundike ende magobhora ndikumatasira pana Rilo Emafunga.
Indeed, you can hear from the fans that Talu, their expectation is that they are speaking to the fact that there shouldn't be violence at this game. As you can see, the Dynamos fans are breaking into song. That's what is happening here at Emakumeni. Highlanders fans also expectant of this. But I love the fact that they've spoken against violence in this game. They want to keep it clean. 3 results are expected: a draw, a loss, and a win.
Oh yes, Valentine, and you know what, football is a family sport, so we want families to come and watch the game, and we play against each other, we don't fight against each other. So yes, the message should be no to violence, and let's come and enjoy the game. This is the biggest football of Zimbabwe, and you know what, these are the beacon carriers of the Zimbabwean football. So we hope we're going to have a lot of fun, and both teams are on song, so we really expect good things out of this afternoon, Valentine.
Jussie, let's speak about you've had many encounters as a player. Tell us through the emotion, the preparing of how you approach these kind of games. What is going on in the player's mind, the club itself, the coaches, and everybody involved in the game?
You know, this Valentine, this game is more than anything else. You know, it's a self-motivation. Obviously, you know, every player wants to fulfill their dream. And these are the games whereby you can see you are being watched by the whole of the country. And of course, playing for the 2 biggest clubs, it gives you, you know, at a certain stage as a player, and getting into this game is self-confidence, marketing yourself, and also at the same time, these games, they take you to the calendar at the end of the season.
And of course, the expectation is that, you know, these two sides, Highlanders, Talu, didn't train. In quotes, I'll put those words in quotes. But also, how does it affect a team in this? Does it psychologically play against also the opponents knowing that they didn't train? What will be going on? Maybe take us through those kind of two different scenarios.
Yeah, well, assuming that was true, then what it means is the team will not be physically prepared to play this game. But in terms of maybe the mind games, yes, it also does affect the opponent because they will have this lull in terms of concentration and feel that probably they are not yet ready. But I still don't want to believe that they did not train the whole week. I want to believe that it was maybe gamesmanship. So yeah, I think for the Battle of Zimbabwe, the game is played before the game. So now what we are going to see is probably the execution of Highlanders. If they did not train, we were going to see them in terms of physical performance. But I still stand by my point that I think it is mind games.
Indeed, mind games are probably, but we have to look at how the players, as you can see, the fans as well, expected to enjoy this game. They are here in their numbers. Beauty and football all come together as well in this instance, and it is going to be exciting. Right, Justin, let's speak to the form of the two sides. Dynamos emphatic 3-0 victory. That should be pushing them beyond. Highlanders 2-1, yes, against Bulawayo Chiefs. It doesn't come good when these two sides have won their last games.
I think it came at the right time. You know, they are all motivated with the previous results. You know, obviously you are looking at the Battle of Zimbabwe. You need to go there with much confidence. And it's quite difficult when you are here as an underdog. And obviously you have to come in as a 50-50, you know, opponent. So I think it's at the right time. And Highlanders also are expecting to collect maximum points, so as Dynamos. And you know, this fixture is always like that. It's always big imaginations, and obviously looking forward to that. And all the players and the coaches, I think in their mind, you know, they're all anticipating an electric atmosphere and also battle on the field.
Let's talk about, you know, when you come from a game like this, Talu, you're coming into the Battle of Zimbabwe, the rivalry that goes with it, and the bigness of the game. Do you change your last team? Do you twerk with it to suit the occasion, or you don't?
Now, the dynamics are a bit difficult in this scenario. Assuming that Highlanders did not train, you would have to stick to the previous team that played. But in a normal situation, you will have to, you know, select the players that have got a big heart, psychologically who are strong, and who really understand what it means to play this kind of an encounter.
Now, as you can see, the fans there are coming in their thousands. Dynamos fans are singing. That is their famous song as well from, that is the Mpilo end. That's where they are housed. That's where you find them. And of course, the opposite, of course, where you will see us as well is the Soweto end. And of course, we've got the Mpankweni end, which is like your Vietnam if you're at Rufaro Stadium, where the fans will be singing. And of course, they're coming to cheer these fans, to cheer the lads here and make sure that their team gets a win. Right, gentlemen, let's talk about the form of the strikers, Kasonto, Abuyemang, Jesse. Abuyemang so far this season, 8 goals. He's Dynamos' most reliable goal scorer. He has to play a big role today.
Probably his best season is coming this year. And of course, he has done so well. You know, 8 goals through mid-season. It's been fantastic. He's been doing very well for Dynamos. And many goals for him. I think we are expecting him, he can reach up to 15. You can see
Dynamos arriving as well. As you can see, Dynamos arriving for the game. It's Highlanders arriving as well. That should be Highlanders indeed. It's Highlanders arrival there. Quite an interesting one. And of course, we always speak of the body language of the players when they disembark from the bus. Talu, can somebody, if you're watching, tell that this player really wants it, or this player probably is nervous, or this player is not in it?
Almost definitely, if you're a good reader of the face, you'd really see that the players are ready for this game. But from the body language, I think they were exuberating confidence, and you could really see even when they had a walkabout on the pitch, they really showed some confidence. So this is going to be an exciting game. Like I said, for you, to you, it's always important to play for any of these two teams, especially in this battle, because this is where you have to assert yourself as a player. This is where you have to really pronounce yourself as a player. So yeah, we expect a good game, And looking at the body language, I think the players are ready.
The players are ready, so are we. And of course, let's look at Dynamos arriving. Yeah, the new bus is not yet arrived for them, but they've arrived with their bus so far that is ferrying them while they wait for their new bus as well as the players disembark as well. And it's always the song Nyawa as well. Lisa is like, he's an important player for Dynamos, Jesse.
Yeah, very important. You know, a skipper, you know, is a leader. You know, the boy is, you know, a player for big games. And usually you see him, especially in this magnitude of a game. And he's quite good. And he's not new here into this derby. And obviously a lot is expected from him. You can see a lot in these players. Kasondo played here last year, you know, when he scored, I think in the 1-1 draw. And you can see here, Mandive is back, and he did very well, especially against Tichewan. He had a very good game. So as Guatizo, Anotida Ishe, I think he is a young man who's coming into the team, and he's doing well.
That's a bit about the team arrivals. They have arrived, and of course we await to hear from the coaches as well what their thought process is while preparing for this big encounter, because this is the time coaches don't want to speak to us because they don't want to divulge much about the game. And of course the Dead Devils, you always find them at the stadium, and of course they'll always be there up there, Talu, the fandom, that they bring the excitement to the game, don't they?
Yeah, but for me that's a bit dangerous, and I think the powers that be are supposed to help him. Help protect him against himself, because that kind of a platform is not really safe for anyone to be on. But the gamesmanship and the fandom, this is what we came here for, the euphoria. You know, this is a very good game that we are supposed to, to have. And just listen to the singing. Look at the Mpilo end. Look at the Soweto end. This is exactly what the Battle of Zimbabwe is supposed to be.
Indeed. Now let's talk about the teams themselves. I'm sure we did see the lineups, Jassi. Dynamos employing a 4-4-2 kind of formation for their start. I don't know whether it will change in dynamism, in defense and in attack. Let's talk a bit about them in that format, if it really works. And for a Highlander side that plays more of a 4-5-1 kind of formation.
I think it's more similar, you know, he's going to play a 4-4-2 that he improvised to a 4-5-1. As you see, there is a Perfect Chikwende who's not a forward, but he usually plays in midfield. I think he will just play just behind Frank. And looking at Highlanders, you can see the way they structure at the back. I think he's trying to break that with the speed from Frank Gemang. And I think this formation, it has been working for him very well. Genesis, he did that, especially against T1, and it paid the dividend.
Indeed, there you have it. So it looks like Jairus Kasonde is not starting, Jassi. He is a hustler. He troubles defenders. He always harasses them. Is there a player you want not to start in this game?
No, especially for me, no, I would want him in this game. He scored here last year. And also for big games, I think he does something which is unique on the field. And I definitely thought he was going to play the Frank and the Jairus Kasonde up front, so that you can at least release the pressure from both angles.
Indeed, release the pressure. And of course, let's get to have a look at the Highlanders lineup, how they're setting up their one. We've already mentioned that Highlanders look like they're going to employ a 4-5-1 kind of formation. And let's take a look at that, Dalu, because I think it's quite important. Highlanders, you watched them last weekend when the Pitbull Chiefs. You say most probably an unchanged side you would expect, because in course they didn't try.
Oh yes, and I think the key player to begin with is Aaron Gwenya, the goalkeeper. As you see, he's going to be very key in terms of his ball distribution, and not only that ball distribution, but also his ball handling. So it's going to be very, very important how they're going to start the ball from the back, but also the back four of Mutumi and Mbeba. They're going to be very key in terms of going forward in terms of those channels. And then Nomo Chinyerere and Tawanda Shenje, for me, basic football is what they play. They don't really do a lot of difficult things. They just play it as simple. Probably, if I was the coach, I would drop that defense a bit because of the issue of not having trained, so that you don't give the strikers like Ajimang the running space. But basically, they are going to be protected by Munkuli and Resen Pawari. So, look, there's going to be stability in the middle of the park. But Perfect Chikwende, we know, is a handful. So probably Racing Pawari knows him very well because coincidentally I was with them at Bulawayo Chiefs, both of them playing for the same team. So yeah, they know each other very well. So it's going to be an exciting midfield backing. But going forward also, Mongameli Chuma, Prince Ndovu, Rowan Omono also supporting Oregon. So yeah, we need to see how they're going to really shape up in terms of attack.
And of course, we see the Highlanders team warming up there. Let's talk about the key players. They form one is Rowan. Let's talk a bit about him because I think he's going to be an important player for Highlanders with his form because he's the one who is in form. And I'm sure when you're an informed player, you really want to show up, particularly for a big game like this.
Oh yes, and remember his work in progress is a young man who really scored a crucial goal in their 1-0 win. And look, if I was a coach, I wasn't really going to put a lot of pressure on him, but an exciting young player, full of promises. And moreover, his combination with Prince Ndovu, it's a very good combination. So yes, Mongameli Chuma, not really on song, but also the three supporting Oregon. They are going to give him that kind of creativity and support. So yeah, Rowan, we expect him to take on defenders and eliminate a bit of pressure for Oregon.
Indeed, and of course the two goalkeepers are warming up as well. And I'm sure that's one department he won't change, he won't touch because he's got one person who's really been consistent for Highlanders.
Oh yes, like I spoke about him, his ball handling skills quite good, ball distribution a bit wanting at times, but quite an exciting player. Although I feel at times he does a lot of unnecessary theatrics, but in this kind of a game he has to keep it simple. If he does keep it simple, then yes, he's a safe pair of hands. As we see Mongameli Chuma there, yes, we know what he did against Dynamos the last time, really taking on the defenders and scoring an exciting goal. But he hasn't really been himself. Yes, Kudakashe Mahachi also will be on the bench. Yes, we expect him to come in the second half so that he becomes the impact player. So yes, and I think basically, assuming that everything is okay, the team is fit, we are supposed to see an exciting game.
Indeed, an exciting game is what we expect, and they don't come as big as this one. We'll continue to emphasize and speak about it because the Battle of Zimbabwe is something big. And of course, let's look at Dynamos themselves, Chassis, because the Dynamos themselves, they're coming through to this encounter after 3-0 victory. They don't really keep clean sheets. And then last weekend they managed to keep a clean sheet after those changes have been made to the Dynamos defense as well. Let's talk a bit about them. And of course, the important role that Clive Mandive will have to play.
I think what a result it was against T1, and also bringing him back, Clive Mandive, it helped a lot in stabilizing the defense. They've been porous. You can see here, Frank Agbeyang, the man in form, and the man of the moment, he's been in fantastic form, scoring goals at will, and also the working rate as well. He's been all together, in the first half of the season. I think he's probably the best player Dynamos has ever had, especially until today. Also, Leroy is sometimes coming up, but I like him in big games. He does very well, and obviously giving in to the team. And for Dynamos, I saw he changed. Mujuri is not in the team. I think Mandive replaced, and of course it's difficult to come back. There's also Gwatizo who's doing well. Abel Gwatizo on the left side. And as you heard the coach saying, he only changed the goalkeeper, Idrisu, who's injured, and Makoni is there. He is the one who finished the game against T1. I think it was a good change because altogether through injury. And now today you are here. Makoni has played this game before, and you're looking forward to him and also giving in his best.
Indeed, and let's look at the log standings as well. These two teams are separated by just 1 point. Dynamos on 29 and Highlanders on 28 indeed. And let's talk about that gap. This is what makes it interesting, Talu, because whoever wins this one creates a gap over the two.
Yeah, for me, I think the log standings don't matter for this kind of a game because it is a battle for pride. But anyway, going back to the log, they are very close. So it tells you about their percentage performance. I think a difference of about 3% in terms of percentage performance. But in terms of real wins, I think Highlanders has got a little bit of an edge. But Dynamos is scoring a lot of goals as well. So yeah, Highlanders not really scoring much. But not conceding as well, not too much. I mean, 2 goals that they've conceded, and also only 1 loss coming into this fixture. So yeah, quite a stable defense and quite a stable midfield.
Indeed. And of course, right now, let's get to hear from the 2 coaches what they had to say as we spoke to them before, that is before the warm-ups as well, and to hear what their expectation is and how they've set their sights.
No, we always know that playing against Dynamos is the biggest game, but talking about how we prepared, you all know that we didn't train much, but the game have to be played, and I hope the boys, they know what it means to play against Dynamos, and this game, it motivates itself, you know. So as coaches, we relax on this one and let them do the job. I think last week we played very well, and I've decided not to change the team. You know, when you win, it's difficult to change the winning team. So I'll go with the same team that played against Chiefs. I didn't change anything.
You know, it's 50-50. At times we have to look at the positives of not training. But in most cases, every team wants to train. But we don't know until they are just hearsay. Like I said earlier before, that we just have to work on our team and make sure that our team is smooth and ready to go. But as for the opponents, you know, it's always important that when they are playing at home and it's Highlanders, they always want to win. So as for me, I don't want to dwell much on that information. But you see, we have traveled also all the way from Harare. So at times we have the whole day without training yesterday. So it's just 50-50. But the application now in the field of play is what matters most at the end of the day.
Highlighting quite important aspects. Gentlemen, your prediction quickly, Jussie. 2-1 for Dynamos.
1-0 Highlanders.
1-0 Highlanders. So those are the predictions. Let's take you to the commentary box as the 2 teams are walking in.
A historical fixture that barely needs no introduction. 2 teams that have edged their names in Zimbabwean football history. 2 big cities represented. No wonder they call it the Battle for Zimbabwe. We are looking into the home team Highlanders taking on bitter and fierce rivals Dynamos in this historic stage that is Baba Fields, a stadium that has seen more stars, that has seen many gallant of stars emerge, and many representing Zimbabwe on the global stage. Now we wait for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the national anthem of Zimbabwe. Welcome once again. Welcome fans of football across the world, fans of football in Zimbabwe, and fans of the Kasolaga Premier League. This is the live broadcast of one of the biggest, if not the biggest game in Zimbabwean football history. This is Highlanders, the home team, taking on Dynamos at Barberfield Stadium. Not so much separating these two teams on the log table, even the points that they do have. We have 7th taking on number 6 respectively, and also one with 29 points and the other with 28 points. So much to fight for apart from the points on the table, apart from what is for grabs at the end of the 90 minutes. It's all about the bragging rights and who gets to be victorious at the end of the game. Not so much is talked about how so many people anticipate and expect this game to be one of the biggest games. The first encounter that they played at Rufaro Stadium ended in a stalemate. This is when we were introduced to Mongameli Chuma, scored his first Kasolaga Premier League for the big black and white. But as time has moved on, only 2 games from the halfway point, Dynamos have a rising star of their own, the young Ghanaian Frank Agiamang. Now looking into the mid-center referee, Brighton Chimene, first assistant Polai Dube, Edgar Rumeki as the second assistant. And these are the guys that are going to be making sure that the laws of the game are administered in their perfect fashion. And that's Highlanders at the center circle, bundling up. The last time they will tell each other about what they expect the game to do, how the game is expected to go on. There's been so much preparation, so much ESAs about how they've been practicing. But then we look into the starting 11, trusted by Benjani Mwariwari. Not so many changes. He decided to go with the same team that won against Blaue Chiefs this past weekend. Aaron Gwenya retains the sport between the sticks. No more Chinyerere is one of the trusted centre-backs. He is back together with Lakmo Mtumbi and Tawanda Shenje. Darlington Mukuli also with Renson Pawari in that midfield. And Benjamin Adegan will be taking charge of the scoring. For Dynamos, Landu and Mandive as the trusted centre-back pairing. Makoni replaces Adrisu, the Cameroonian. And we have Shadrack Nyawa, the captain, as the metronome for Dynamos. Abel Anotidaisha Guatizo and Perfect Chikwende in that midfield, replacing Jairos Kasondo. And the man with 8 goals for Dynamos, Frank Agiamang, will be trusted to score and add to his tally once again. And these are the teams that have been trusted, with Christopher Netti, who has been flying on that right back, still nursing his injury. And that's Dynamos in your picture, wearing the traditional blue as they are playing this afternoon at Barberfields. It's going to be an exciting and mouth-watering fixture, with so many people coming in here at the Mpapweni stand, the Soweto end and the Mpilo end, and those of you that are watching from wherever you are across the world. So now we are a few moments from hearing the first whistle being blown by Brighton Chimene, a man who also needs no introduction with the whistle. And those are the Dynamos fans at the Mpilo end. And their numbers, of course, they do call themselves the 7 million fans, and they do brag that no other team boasts of a fan base such as theirs. But today, are they going to sing loud enough to cheer this team in blue? Are they going to show the world that they are indeed the Glamour Boys against a team that is celebrating 100 years since the club came into existence in 1926? Ladies and gentlemen, that is Highlanders, and their fans also supporting their team that they believe is on the course of doing better than they were doing as the season began. And is about to get into the thick of things. My name is Tendai Spanda, and besides me is expert analyst and football enthusiast Maxo Madriza.
Well, Tendai, 2 teams that really do not need any introduction, Highlanders and Dynamos as well. One of the biggest games on the local scene. And looking at the log table, not really anything separating the two as well. 2 of the most defensively solid teams so far only losing 2 games each. And if you're talking about Highlanders, I think they've just been frustrated with the draws that they've been having. Also, not being able to convert those stalemates into 3 points. I think if they were able to do that earlier in the season, they could have been higher up the log table. Dynamos, on the other hand, they've been scoring goals quite well, but the inconsistencies in their wins as well has taken away so much points from their total tally so far. Now sitting 11 points away from the top. Scotland leading the pack with 40 points. And now going to the final stretch in terms of the season, it doesn't look like these 2 teams are still competing for the title, but nevertheless a huge one, with the first one ending in a 2-2 draw.
So this is one of the biggest games in Zimbabwe, and we are underway with the Highlanders, the team in black and white, attacking from the right side of your screen, going to the left, and the visiting team all the way from Harare in blue. These are the Glamour boys, and they are going to be restarting play through a throw-in. Well, the beat up to this, there were a lot of stories, whether true or false, about Highlanders not having so much time to practice. But in the pre-match interview, talking to their manager or their head coach, Benjamin Marwari, he says sometimes you have to forget about how you did during the course of the week. And when you're part of a game like this, the boys are trusted to understand what it means to be donning the black and white jersey.
Yeah, definitely they've been having their problems in the background as well. There were some complaints from the players in terms of their salaries, but when you look at this game, you really have to look at it in a different way. A very important one, and the players definitely showing up just as the fans have done as well.
Now Islanders attacking from the far side, just making sure that evades his markers. Quick 1-2 that was played by Andrew Mbeba, and now he'll be taking the first corner kick of the day. And the fans do have come in their numbers, and some sitting in very unorthodox positions just to get a glimpse of this magnificent fixture.
No, I know it's a big game tonight, but that looks a little bit dangerous from that fun.
And they play it short now. Prince Lovo coming in with so much space, and you try to use his left foot of ease, but another corner kick deflected out of play. And I think this time they'll try to go long, or they'll... Andrew Bebe is usually the trusted dead ball specialist, but this time it's Prince Lovo who will be taking the second corner kick of the day for Highlanders, of course. Delivery coming in, and almost last-ditch save from the goalkeeper. Tatena Makoni justifying why Kaka has brought him into the fold, but you'd have thought that was going to be an easy one for Islanders to convert.
Oh, what a start that could have been for Islanders. I think the goalkeeper does well to keep his eyes on the ball in close quarters there. And you have thought there was a decent chance for Highlanders to score the first goal of this game. The last one had 4 goals in it, and it looks like it's probably going to have another quick start today.
Well, the last time they played each other, it was at Rufaro Stadium and Matchday number 2, where the tie, like you said, Mark, ended in a 2-2 draw. This is when Mongameli Chuma really announced himself to the Highlanders faithful and to the rest of Zimbabwe, scoring a fantastic goal. Also, Collins Mjuru, who did not start this afternoon, scored that goal that made the game end in a stalemate. Neva Rauji was also on the score sheet, didn't start today. And also Telmo Pio for Dynamos, who scored in the 46th minute after being introduced. Is not part of the fold. A lot can change from matchday number 2 up to matchday number 19. And now with Benjamin Marwari not having for 2 consecutive games without changing his team, it means maybe he's now finding the team that is most comfortable with.
Yeah, we were talking about the draws that they've had in between the start of the season going forward. They've just been struggling really to get the 3 points in so many games, and that's why they're probably not having as much points as they would have loved. But defensively wise, probably the best team in the league.
Mongameli Chuma now cross into the box, which Tatenda Makoni will deal with without any trouble. And that is the Dynamos' gaffer, Genesis Mangombe. The last time he came here, it was in the Gyros Diri Cup, which he lost by a single goal to nil, but that was not a league game. So he will find a chance and an opportunity to redeem himself this afternoon. So losing the ball in the final third. And a loose pass coming from the middle of the park from Highlanders, but they do recollect well. Captain Darlington Cooley to Rain Sampavari. Both teams still trying to find rhythm and impose themselves into the game. And taking so much time before releasing the ball. You could see here the crowd starting to jeer. They wanted to be played quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Highlanders fans really supporting their team well, and they would really love a quick start here.
Now cross into the box. Now they have an opportunity to lead. And there's not much power in that. Well, they have been threatening with the crosses. It is the final piece that is a little bit lacking from Highlanders. But maybe if they keep on applying the same rhythm and the same tactic, we could be talking of a difference in the scoreboard here this afternoon. There's so much pressure being applied by their striker, their leading striker for Highlanders. And it's also surprising that they have scored almost 15 goals all season, Highlanders, which is not a very good return for a club this size. You'd be expecting more as compared to Dynamos, who have scored 26. Almost double the amount their opponents have scored.
And that has been the difference between the two teams. We're talking about how good they've been defensively, but being good defensively only doesn't win you those games, those crucial games. You need those 3 points on the 10. They're coming from a very good win against Bulawayo Chiefs, their local rivalries as well. And Dynamos also coming from a very good win against Tawan, winning that one by 3-0. So both teams really boiled by their previous results, but you just wanted to be consistent enough.
Rain Sampavari plays it to the wing where Andrew Beba has come to collect. Chuma. Oh, miscue. That's not what you would expect, especially when you're just facing your home fans and let him pick one stand. Now Leroy Mafunga decides to go long. So much space on the far side. 3 bodies in the box on the far side, on the back post, but too high for him. For the first time we have seen Dynamos try to respond after 8 minutes. And it was Leroy Mafunga who had started that run of attack and was about to end it as well.
Yeah, good from Leroy. How many times have we seen him doing that in the Casablanca Premiership? Starting the move and almost ending with it as well. Unfortunately, just a little bit higher for him. Not the tallest of players that we have, but the pace that he has is very much effective for Dynamos in most play as well. Good play from Dynamos after being on the pump for the last few minutes from Highlanders. Both teams really showing some attacking intent.
Prince Lovu loses possession. It was Isaac Landu who was keeping tabs on him. No more Chinyerere, a man who has done a lot for the club in terms of defending this season. He's almost like trusted lieutenant for Benjani Mariwari. Barely misses a game, and if he does, it's probably due to suspension, but it's been fantastic.
Yeah, Benjani now almost finding a team, first starting 11 that he trusts. You talked about in the pre-match that it's very difficult to change a winning team. And this has been the team that has won the previous game and games as well. We just see this in the season beginning. Kudakwashi Mahachi getting most of the game time, as well as the likes of Nevara Uji. Now sticking to the bench a little bit. Benjani just trying to put some stability in terms of his starting 11.
Ray Sampavari wins the battle in the midfield. Beba charging forward, but a little bit slow in releasing that one. Now Leroy Mavunga can go on the charge as he did earlier. Rayson Pavard is keeping tabs on him, not letting him go easily, and he decided to play it back. Dynamos trying to play a cross-field pass, and Frank Agiaman keeps it in play. Agiaman finds perfect Chikwende. Perfect. Oh, perfect pass as well. Now deliver into the box. Not too good from Leroy Mavunga. Promising to be a fierce battle this one. Mongameli Chuma playing to the gallery, and you can see the fans confirming. Chuma again. Marked hard. Dynamos do in possession. And that is a foul. Mandile, the centre back, just charging forward. So much composure. But good opening 11 minutes.
Yeah, good from both sets of teams the time around. Chuma, I think he did the hard work and probably could have quickly looked for the release pass. I think he just waited on the ball a little bit and then going on to concede the foul. He's put his hand up to apologize to his teammates, but decent start from both teams. Really nobody settling for stalemate here. It looks like we're probably going to be having another high scoring match.
It has been difficult for Dynamos to get a win here at Barbourfields. It has been a fortress. And Highlanders have done a very good job since 2017 to keep it tight. And Dynamos do have an understanding of how difficult it is to score here and get a win. The last time they did manage to get a win, it was Kutsanzira, Nadolo and Dube who scored. And it was back in 2017. So a lot of time has gone by since the Glamour Boys have walked out victorious in this historic stadium.
Yeah, and this is probably not the season that you would be able to do it, because Highlanders have been absolutely brilliant in terms of their defensive work, only conceding 10 goals so far in the season, and really have made Barbourfields a fortress, as you say. It's a season of mixed fortunes actually for Highlanders fans. Benjamin Marwaro didn't really find the start as easy, but now it looks very bright in terms of the future and the combinations as well as the goals coming through.
Perfect Chikwende flicking out for Wisdom Mumtasa, who comes out victorious, trying to play through Frank Agiamang. And forces a boot from Aaron Gwenya. Good cross in, but straight into the goalkeeper's hands. So Tendai Shimagwaza playing on the right side has come in clutch a couple of times for the injured Christopher Netti, who has been high-flying at the beginning of the season. And Dynamos in their ranks, I know very well that they do miss him. But Magwaza has come in and has done his beating. It's just showing you what quality does, especially for a big team. No more Chinyerere finding Prince Ndlovu. Almost became a perfect pass in the middle of the park. They do win themselves a free kick. And that's Shadrack Nyawa trying to protest his innocence.
Yeah, for the first time, Highlanders trying to come through the middle of the park. They very good defensive work to cut out that pass. It could have been a wonderful defense splitting pass.
Highlanders playing with a high line. Almost all of their players just treading in opposition territory, except for the likes of Nomo Chinyerere, who's just occupying the center circle. Agiaman coming in to defend. The young Ghanaian. Nine notch from the back. brings Perfect Chikwende down. He does bring in the creative spark for Dynamos. Every time you see some play further up the pitch, the quick 1-2s, I give you give it back to me, you're certainly sure that, you know, there's a little bit of a Perfect Chikwende touch.
Yeah, and Highlanders have to be very careful how they keep tabs on him. The combinations there, especially on his flank and the Wisdom tosser in the middle of the park, they can be very quick in terms of the counter Dynamos. And really Highlanders wouldn't want to keep such a high line like they are.
Now playing it for Abel Kwatizo, and it has been cleared by Tawanda Shinji for a corner kick, the first one for the Glamour Boys. Wisdom Mumtasa already sweating just under 16 minutes. It's the intensity that these games bring, and these players do well know what is at stake if you win or if you lose. Leroy Mavunga will play long into the box. Too high for Shadrack Nyawa. Of course, you don't expect him to be the man at the back post, probably because of the height.
Yeah, just took too much time, Leroy Mavunga, before taking that corner kick, and you could see and hear the Highlanders fans in dispute with him. And I think that probably just took him off a little bit, and couldn't judge that one well.
Andrew Weber. Was trying to play Prince Clover through, but Isaac Landu was well away of where the pass was going to be played. Good reading of the game from the defender. Shadrack Nyawa, the skipper. Back to Gumisai Mandive. Landu with acres of space. No one's ball at the moment, just being played up and high. Now Shadrack Nyawa coming in high, and you get the first yellow card of the game. And it's a hard tackle on Roy Nyamono. As the card being flagged, though we saw Brighton Chimene reaching for his pocket. He's a grafter, Shadrack Nyawa. And in more cases than once, you'd expect him to come in such hard tackles like that.
Yeah, probably doing a little too much Nyawa. They almost a flying tackle, to be honest. And just waiting to confirm if that yellow card has been brandished to Nyawa early in the game. And Brighton Chimene, one of our most trusted referees in terms of knowing when it's a yellow or not. And the early booking would really be a challenge now to Nyawa. And that Highlanders fan, especially with the Bristol die, I think it's probably a little bit too dangerous to be up there.
Well, if he's a little bit extra, a little bit cool, they do say the higher you go, the cooler it becomes, and he's resonating well with the weather here in Blawa. It's been a little bit chilly and cold. So Shadrack Nyawa, confirmation there. He has been given the first yellow card of this big game. Chuma is trying to play Benjamin Adia going through, but it was being marked by two big defenders. Ryan Nyamono failing to keep it in play. Still settle the game. No clear chances have been created so far.
Yeah, just taking away from the momentum that it started with. I think it has slowed down a little bit. We did see both teams really going on the brakes early into the game. Now just settling down a little bit.
Frank trying to play Perfect Chikwende through. The pass was well intercepted. Now Aaron Gwenya misplacing that pass, inviting danger for his teammates. Wisdom Tassa not reading the game perfectly well there. Perfect Chikwende. Running into traffic. What he did when he tried to turn elaborately. Now cross into the box. It was just speculative effort for cross, to be honest. Chuma jumping higher. Isaac Landu has come in, winning those aerial duels. And now Anotidaishi has gone to the ground and is claiming that there's been an elbow.
Yeah, I think he just came off the worst of the two on that jump. It does look okay. To continue Anotidaishi. Probably the landing, but he says there was probably an elbow on his head. Haven't seen much of him as yet. One of the most creative players in that middle of the park for Dynamos. With Nyawa, the captain as well, in the midfield pairing. Perfect Chikwende will always be the threat as well. Liro Mavunga on that left flank, looking to use his pace as well.
Playing in their own half, Highlanders. And a lot of pressure was now coming to them. So in the 18 matches that they've played so far, with this being the 19th, they've only managed to find the back of the net 15 times. And of those 15 times, 4 times they've scored in the first half. So it means maybe the fans in here do not really expect them to hit the back of the net earlier on into this game. The understanding is that 11 of their goals have come later into the game, when the game is about to die. But maybe it's a story they would want to change.
Yeah, they're also very good at responding to conceding goals as well. It really gets them going. But they would love to get the first goal this afternoon.
Now Mongameli Chuma to square it into the box, but was well defended. He does have the tricky feet. The throw-in goes the opposite direction. The man with 8 goals so far this season, the young Ghanaian, Frank Agiamang. The only player with more goals than him is the Ranchers man, Ralph Kawandera. 1 goal more than Frank Agiamang. He has scored 5 goals in the last 6. An incredible return for a young striker.
Yeah, brilliant striker, isn't he? Very intelligent as well. You see him play as a striker. They're very adaptive in his positioning, and that has actually created more chances for himself. And that's why he's been very key in whatever Dynamos have been trying to do this season, and he loves it at Dynamos. I think he's been able to settle in very well with the Glamour boys.
Nah, reminds me of one of his videos when he's singing one of their war cries in the bus. Now Prince Lovu, Dynamos flirting with danger. Now trying to square it into the box, but then the last touch was just not too good from Lakmo Mtumbi. They are indeed getting in those exciting positions in their spaces, but it's the final ball that hasn't been a little bit decisive for Highlanders. If they were going to be converting them into goal-scoring currency, they would have been leading by now, Highlanders.
Yeah, definitely. I think their creative methods are very good. But just some loose passes and some loose touches in key areas, just letting off the opponents when they probably could have been able to hit them more. I also did see that in the beginning of this game. I would have thought by now we could have had 2 or more goals, judging by how frantic the start was.
Obviously. Now they lose the ball. And Leroy Mavunga, the moment he gets the ball, he has been trying to apply those afterburners. He really wants to play the pessy game today. Anotidaishi Gwatidzo. Sports Iran, but the ball was intercepted before it got to the intended receiver, who I believe was Perfect Chikwende. Now Mongameli Chuma will support the run of the young Cameroonian, rather Nigerian. Now the skipper looking for options, place it into the box, still holding on to the ball, or playing Mongameli Chuma through, but I think the offside flag has been raised. Took so many touches, the young striker. Maybe just waiting to see a run of a teammate and then played through.
Yeah, Adigan in the box there, you were looking for options. I don't think there was plenty of support for him in the box. Chuma as well, running behind him, and unfortunately I think he was just a yard offside. And the combinations have not really worked so far for Highlanders up front. They've just not yet clicked, and you could see what they're trying to do, but in that moment not really working out for them.
Genesis Mangombe. He says we did travel by bus, and that's a day that we didn't have to practice, so it's a 50-50 situation. He's saying if Islanders also didn't have days that they went for practice sessions. Now Perfect Chikwende, turning in, defended well, good goalkeeping, but I think the foul. Olakmo Mtumbi came in strong with the shoulder barge, and he almost thought he was through on goal.
Yeah, perfect. Thought he had won it perfectly. Brighton Chimene a little bit late with the whistle, actually allowed play to go on before actually calling for that foul, but it looked like there was a foul. They fell from the referee.
Wisdom Mtasa. Mongameli Chuma, misplaced pass. No, this has been the summary of the game in the last 27 minutes. Both teams not really playing well to the best of their abilities. We know they can do better. They have done better. We've seen them do better. But it's just a couple of misplaced passes here and there, which I think if they are rectified, we'll start seeing some free-flowing football.
Yeah, definitely. I think the start-stops have now been in the story of the first half. I did look and started very electric this game on the flanks as well. And that's probably the first substitution of the day.
And an early substitution, that is Anotidaishi Gwatidzo, coming off and will be replaced by Jairus Kasondo. Not understanding whether it's an injury-induced substitution, or maybe Genesis Mangombe has seen something that he doesn't like from the young Anotidaishi Gwatidzo. If it's not an injury before substitution for any player, this is a moment that might affect you mentally and even psychologically, but sometimes it's all about how you pick yourself up.
Yeah, 29 minutes into the game, and you're caught off is probably not what you'd expect turning out for this game. It does look like it was a tactical one. It doesn't look like there was any injury to him, but we talked about how his presence was not really being felt in that midfield, and now bringing on Kasondo, another striker, showing his attacking intent here from Genesis Mangombe.
Oh, it's just a bad day in office probably for Anotidaishi Gwatidzo, who has been replaced by another good goal scorer for Dynamos, Jairus Kasondo. Was laid off for a couple of games due to injury, but it's good to see him that he's back. Highlanders in the final third, but Prince Glove loses possession.
Yeah, they've decided to check the difficult routes all the time, Highlanders, in terms of the choices that they've made, looking for that pass, not going for the simpler pass, trying to beat probably remaining and losing the possession, and that's why their fans are probably yelling in frustration now.
So half an hour football has been played at Bubblefield Stadium, and still no goals have been scored in this big fixture. It's a full house there. I think Leroy Mavunga has gone down holding his shin. Looks like he's in excruciating pain. The left winger. And that is the earlier challenge back from Andrew Beba. And having an exchange with Brighton Chimene. So there seems to be a pushing and grabbing here, closer to the box. And it's a Dynamos player that has gone down to the ground. And you can see in your picture Brighton Chimene just having a conversation with Nomo Chinyerere together with Jairus Kasondo. Really wants it to be as clean as it can be. The experienced centre ref. So now played from the deep. Well taken. And then dropping way. Shadrack Nyawa has been found again on the big post. I think it's similar to the goal that he scored against Tel1. He has been lurking in those areas despite him being probably one of the shortest players on the pitch.
Yeah, probably the second or third time he has made that run. The tough free kick played long into the back post. The goalkeeper first to the ball and a clear foul from Nyawa. You probably want someone like Kasondo to be in that area if you are going to compete for the ball there.
Nyamono marked from behind, but they believe it's a clean one. Too slow from the skipper there. Benjamin Adiegun looking for a pass, was trying to take it over to Prince Ndlovu. And now he finds Darlington Mkuli trying to play through where there's Mongameli Chuma. And Leroy Mavunga again has been brought to the ground, and this time I think there's going to be an issuing of a yellow card.
Yeah, good play that time around from Highlanders. And a clear foul here, I think. A clear push on the back on Mavunga just as he was about to receive the ball.
So Tawanda Shenja, the latest recipient of that yellow card. The big centre back, displeased with what Brighton Chimene has just done in terms of issuing that yellow card. Now he did come in strongly there to Leroy Mavunga, but he believes maybe that it was the first time charge. I mean, maybe you're supposed to be given grace. Tawanda Shenji.
Yeah, I think the referee probably thought that Leroy Mavunga had a chance to go on the break there.
Oh no, Mochinyerere. A play through. Now can they attack it? Hits the crossbar. Probably miscommunication between Aaron Gwenya and his centre backs. They clattering into each other, giving this young striker an opportunity to cross it into the box.
Yeah, Ageman probably had more time than he thought there, because the goalkeeper was off his line and he could have been able to take a look. Played it first time and did hit the crossbar. Aaron Gwenya not quite sure that time around, coming out of his line and missed the ball.
One of the most exciting things about these two teams currently is both of them are coming off a period where they've both won 2 games on the bounce. Their recent win, Highlanders, was against Blaai Chiefs, where they won by 2-1, came from behind and they found the back of the net. And you're also looking into Dynamos, who played against Tel1 at some point. And the thing is, they've done it on 2 different occasions where they've won back-to-back games. but they always fail on the third one. And now currently, or recently, they have both come from back-to-back wins. And the question is, are they going to go for a draw, or either of these two sides is going to fall this afternoon?
Yeah, that's been the issue, isn't it, for both teams as well?
So play to Andrew Beba, who's on the far side. Good cross into the box. Almost making a mistake, the goalkeeper. Tatenda Makoni has come on for Idrisu. Now Mongameli Chuma dancing in the box, playing it through to Prince Lofu. Beba for the attack, and Shadrack Nyao comes in. Last ditch defending. Threw his body on the way and just denied that shot from Andrew Beba to reach the back of the net. Good play from Highlanders, good defending from Dynamos. Now Mengameli Chuma. No more. There was Nyamono trying to kill it, going for top bins. But the execution wasn't as good as the idea. Now Kasondo. He hasn't received a lot of service since coming on for Matchday Shekwatizo. Shadrack Nyawa. Mavunga. Back to Abel Gwatizo. Now Mtasa being bullied there by the big midfielder. Nyamono taking his time with the ball. Rainson Pavari. Chuma decides to play it back.
Yeah, probably the best moment for Highlanders so far in this game. A mistake from the goalkeeper in that first time around. In the second time around, it was a brilliant body on the line defending from the captain Nyawa.
Now Dynamos had a chance to go on the counter charge, but lost his footing and played it back to Abel Gwatizo. And this time the throw-in goes in favor of Dynamos, much to the dismay of the Highlanders fans. We have come in their numbers. Perfect Chikwende has exchanged the wing that is, or rather has changed the wing that is playing on, started on the right side, now operating on the left, showing a little bit of dynamism in his game. Chuma making a meal out of it. Two players that he can feed the ball to. And is that a penalty? Mongameli Chuma has won his team a spot kick. And you can feel the excitement from the Highlanders faithful.
Yeah, Chuma coming clear here, and he had a simple square if he could have wanted it there. But that's when the foul came. I think there was contact on him, but not quite sure if it was enough to award the penalty, and that is probably why there's some questions coming in from the Dynamos captain and his colleagues. But it did look like there was some contact, and Chuma, who went down straight away.
Well, the question is always going to be, was it enough?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying today. That's the question. And that judgment is what Brighton Chimene is in for, and is now looking for the prayers because the penalty has been awarded.
To whoever he's praying to, he's hoping that they do answer this afternoon. As a sport kick has been given. So from 11 meters, who is going to be trusted to convert that one? There is the earlier incident.
Now you can just see the, very difficult to judge whether the contact was enough or not. But when a player is in motion, any contact can actually be enough contact. I mean, clear. Is it a clear and obvious one? you don't know.
Gumisai Mandiwe being given a yellow card, and that's another Dynamos player not wanting to look into the proceedings. There are those with heart that would look as the penalty kick is being taken, and there are those that would just wait to see and wait to hear confirmation after the penalty has been taken.
Yeah, but look now tonight, the time that has been taken before that penalty can be taken. Dynamos fans probably trying to delay the penalty, which is sometimes just put off whoever is going to take it. Brighton Chimene trying to speed up that process. And Makoni still has a chance here because you can have the penalty. It doesn't mean you have the goal. You still have to convert it as well. I think it'll be a very good ending to the first half for Highlanders if they can convert.
So Tatenda Makoni to face from 11 meters from the sport kick. Then there's the Nigerian Benjamin Adigun to take. The weight of so many Highlanders faithfuls lying on his shoulders. And he has one job to make sure that they are celebrating. And he does convert. Cool, calm, collected. Highlanders won. And it is a goal that has given them so much joy and hope here at Barberfield Stadium. And the prayers have been answered.
Yeah, good penalty from Adigun. Straightforward penalty, no stuttering runs or anything else. And I think they were playing well. Highlanders leading to this goal. They had gone on a run of attacks, and they were showing some very good football. And then Chuma on that run, ending up winning that penalty. And Benjamin Marwaro would be quite glad that Adigun was able to convert it into the top right corner. Goalkeeper going the other way.
After 42 minutes of play, Highlanders do lead at home against fierce rivals Dynamos. Almost at the end of this first half. How difficult is it going to be for Dynamos to look for a response?
Well, Dynamos will probably feel aggrieved in terms of the awarding of the penalty. And there was some contact, and whether it was enough or not, I think it's a passing story. They do need a response here. And the previous game ending 2-0, you'd wonder if this is the beginning of the go fest now tonight.
Benjamin Marwaro said the wins are going to come, and this might be the start of something new. Remember, they do have 2 wins on the bounce, but the question is, are they going to hold on to this lead? Are they still going to make it difficult for Dynamos? Remember, it's been a very long time since Dynamos came up with a win from here. And that is the technical bench looking on with grey faces. Not the end to the first half they were expecting, if it does indeed end in this manner.
Yeah, they did play well. I don't think they've been playing badly, Dynamos. A few chances here and there. Liro Mafunga on the other side, we've seen what he can do. We already had a substitution, and this is Mangome still aging his players to keep on fighting. Kasondo coming through as well. So they now do have 2 strikers on board. And I think halftime talk was just about encouraging them to be a little bit more vigilant going into the second half.
Benjamin Adigun continues to find the back of the net for Highlanders, and is now their leading goal scorer in this current season with 4 to his name. So it means Highlanders now have scored 16 goals in total in under 19 games. And remember, we were talking about only 4 goals coming in the first half, so this makes it the 5th goal coming in the first half. So confirmation of added time, a minimum of 2 minutes. And there's the Undertaker. He's talking about being compact, not allowing Highlanders to leave so much space for Dynamos to exploit.
And that's what they've done all season. Probably the most compact team so far. They know all well about defending, don't they?
So now Dynamos in dangerous territory. Across into the box. And does it go out of play? No, it doesn't. Kasondo, oh, diving header from the young striker. But this time not in target, or not on target. That's the danger he possesses, just lacking in those unspotted areas, and he could have equalized for Dynamos.
Yeah, Leo Mafunga allowing the ball to bounce, and Highlanders fans thinking that it had gone out of play, but whips in the cross. I don't think Ageman manages to get clean contact on it. Almost a falling header, trying to get his head on the ball. Probably should have gone with his foot. I think it's because the ball was just a little bit out of reach from him. And that could have been a wonderful ending for Dynamos in the first half, being able to go on the break square. But a good chance for them there towards the end of the first.
Dynamos looking for an equalizer with almost 30 seconds left to play of this 2 minutes. Now Wisdom Mumtasa, well, feigning a shot, but there's a lot of traffic. Frank Agyemang defended well. Mongameli Chuma, good control of the ball. Wow, good turning as well. Now Mbeba 1-2 with Prince Ndlovu, but loses possession. Wonderful turn from the veteran. Shadrack Nyawa now will kill down the tempo as Brighton Chimene blows his whistle for half time. Bubberfields erupts as they lead Highlanders by single goal to nil, courtesy of a penalty from Benjamin Adigan. It has been equally contested, but the home team has managed to create moments for themselves, which they could have converted on many occasions than once. But what a game we've seen in the first 45.
Yeah, the game just coming back to life towards the end after dying down a little bit in the middle of that first half. And judging on what we have been saying, probably Highlanders going on top of the break, a little bit justified after getting that penalty. And Adigan converting convincingly as well. Dynamos did get a few chances towards the end there, and they will be encouraged from what they've been doing as well. And their young striker Frank Ageman could have gotten them the equalizer on the stroke of half time. And I think we are poised for a very brilliant second half, which is probably going to be giving us more goals tonight.
So we now are going to be switching over to the pitch side, where Valentine Mabugu is going to be Dalibut Lebebe and Chief Justice Majavi.
What a game indeed, what a match, the best of them all. Highlanders are leading here by a goal to nil, courtesy of the Nigerian Oregon getting a penalty there after Mongameli Chuma was tackled down in the box, and a penalty was awarded by Brighton Chimene. What a game we have on our side. I still have my two match analysts, Justice Machavi as well as Dalibut Lepepe. Gentlemen, Talu, to start with a match living to his billing, you would say Highlanders were not training, would you?
Like I said, it was the mind games, Vale, and the way they are playing, you can tell that they've been preparing, and they prepared very well for this kind of a game. I spoke about them trying to penetrate the Dynamos back four using the channels. That's what they are doing. They are trying to go through the right channel and also on the left side of the pitch. But for me, I think it is an evenly balanced game. And if you see how they are moving the ball, they are really in charge of this kind of a game. So you wouldn't say that they did not train, Valentine. They did train this game.
Indeed, having said that, Justice, let's look at how Dynamos conceded that penalty. As you can look there, a touch, a tackle from behind always will get you, in as much as sometimes you get the ball first, but it's always from behind. As you look there you go, the touch. And you might have bumped the ball to the player's feet, but it's a tackle from behind.
Yeah, it's a tackle from behind. I think minimum contact, but it depends with the referee. You know, most of the time, the referee can give or cannot give. But it's a 50-50 situation whereby, you know, as a defender, you might think I might poke the ball. And that's what Mandiwe did. He thought he was going to win the ball, but Mongameli was already ahead. But I think 1-0 win, Highlanders deserved.
Right, so let's talk about Highlanders game at Talu and look at what they were getting right and what they need to do to consolidate their lead.
Yeah, I think, like I said, they're using the channels, especially the right side of their midfield. This is where they're trying to penetrate, and they're doing that very well. But my biggest problem with them is Odegon is supposed to stay in the penalty arc. He's supposed to be there around the penalty spot so that he's able to head those balls, because those crosses are finding no one inside there. And then Lakma Mutumbi on the other side, also attacking the left channel. Yes, Prince Love, we see, is a bit creative, and also Mongameli Chuma. So yes, Odegon for me is not supposed to go to the channels because he's got that kind of support. He's supposed to stay in the penalty arc.
The poster boy that was created for Highlanders, Mongameli Chuma, your take on how he's playing and how he's influencing the game so far in this one?
Oh, he's got a very positive contribution. You see, the way he's controlling the ball, and he's the one who won that kind of a penalty. Why? Because of his creativity. You know, he's not a very physical person, and look at that finish from Odegon. Quite skillful player. So, yes, they need, especially Dynamos, they need to make sure that he doesn't receive the ball first, because as soon as he receives the ball, he has got skill, he's got speed. So Mongameli Chuma quite key, and I think for me, going into the second half, they are supposed to remain as they are. They are not supposed to change, that kind of shape. Probably they might bring in Rizin for the, maybe for Prince Nzov, not because he's not playing well, but because of the impact that usually Rizin Swanda brings, especially in the second half. He's quite a speedy player, quite physical, and he's always in the thick of things, Valentine.
Justy, let's speak about the substitution that we saw in the 28th minute being done by coach for Dynamos. Your take around that, taking Anotida out and bringing in Kasondo, what was the thinking from your own point of view?
I think first and foremost, I think it was not necessary because the game was still flowing. You know, both teams were not threatening each other. And of course, you needed to congest the midfield. You know, Highlanders is stronger in the midfield as well. So with Anochida, you help in with the energy. And of course, I think he did that in anticipation that he might take the game to Highlanders. But it didn't pay dividends. You can see the gaps now. That's why Mongameli is starting to detect, because all those spaces are now open.
Indeed, and let's look at some of the chances that Dynamos missed. They had a sitter, a header that they should have really scored there in the towards the end of that encounter as well. Some missed opportunities from them, but they lacked a bit of creativity, particularly with Leroy Mafunga on that wing when Anotida Eshe went out.
Look, I think Perfect Chikwende and Wisdom Mutasa are supposed to switch places, because when Perfect was on the right side of the midfield, he was really creating those chances and taking away the pressure. But the coming in of Kasondo there, and if you see the statistics, Dynamos, yes, doing very well as well. So I think Perfect Chikwende is more effective on the right side of the attack, and then Wisdom Mutasa is supposed to go on the left. But for Highlanders and, you know, for their defensive linkman, Darlington Mukuli and Vincent Bar are supposed to track Wisdom and Perfect Chikwende and always be on the alert to give Rowan that kind of a ball so that he brings in those crosses, Valen.
Indeed, as you look at the stats, 5 attempts by Highlanders, 3 by Dynamos, 4 shots on target for Highlanders, and of course 1 for Dynamos. So effective Highlanders they've been. That's why the statistics speaks of the most important one. Highlanders leading by goal to nil. Then ball possession, even it is Itavi, 51-49 as well for that. Offsides 1-0, and look at the corners as well. Highlanders leading in that pack 3-2, and yellow cards as well. Dynamos 2 players on yellow cards and 1 for Highlanders, and then red cards still none there. And Highlanders have committed lesser fouls than Dynamos. Dynamos looking like a side that is really now under pressure.
Oh yes, they are under pressure, but you know what? This is where you're supposed to be a bit calm. And when you're chasing the game, open up the field. Try to play as simple as possible, because the moment you concede, everybody then expects you to come back quickly. So yes, they're supposed to move the ball around. Wisdom Mtasa for me and Perfect Chikwenda are supposed to be the ball carriers for them, because they've got the technique and they also have that kind of final pass. Now you have Kasondo and Ajimang there. So in terms of finishing, yes, Dynamos might be able to finish. But coming to Highlanders, I think Tawanda Mushenje and Nomo Chinyerere have to try and keep it simple. And Aaron is really giving us anxious moments. He's not really comfortable with his ball handling. So yeah, I think the coaches need to talk to them at half time, and they really try to stabilize that back four.
Some of the tackles that have come in, it brings in the temperatures. You know those tackles have to come in, and you haven't been shot at them really, if you look at those highlights.
Yeah, you know, this game, you know, you need all this. It has got everything, you know, even outside there's a lot of noise. And of course, you can see it's a little bit hard and so forth, especially in the middle of the park. And where there is Nyawa, you could see there every time there's a tussle, there are tackles happening in the middle of the park. And I have seen Nyawa getting a yellow card there, I think. And you can see here, Perfect nearly scored. But that was a clear chance, you know, he could have buried. But unfortunately, the referee had blown. And it's including everything in this game, you know, there's everything.
As you can see
there. Tackles are flying, you know, and everyone, you know, is the passion, you know, for the players, you know. All this is very important, you know, especially a game of this magnitude. You need to show up, you need to be there, you need to be stronger. You know, it's a men's game, there's contact, there's a lot of things happening.
Indeed, and we're looking at some of those tackles. They were flying in. Indeed, they were making sure that you know, they get those tackles in, and then the penalty conceded there from you know, a challenge from behind. It's always difficult for the referee to decide whether you touch the ball first. That's why you need VAR. Sometimes you'll know whether the player touched the ball first, or you touch the man first before the ball as well. So very tricky situation for that is Breton Chimene, and it didn't hesitate, pointed straight to the penalty spot. Let's look at the changes that we would expect for Dynamos.
For now, I think you know, you just need to stabilize his midfield. I think that's where it's lacking. We spoke about Wisdom Mumtasa here. You know, he's not showing up into this game. I think Anochida was even better than Wisdom. Wisdom is not winning any area of ball. He's not getting into the game. I think Perfect is alone. He's trying by all means, but let's see what happens in the second half.
And of course, Talu, changes for Highlanders, what do they maintain? Quickly?
Yeah, I think they should maintain, because they've got in a very good shape right now.
Indeed, amazing. So the teams are coming back. Let's go back to our match commentators, Tendai Spanda, as well, as they give us a live commentary of the second half as Dynamos prepare to make a change.
Welcome back to this live coverage of the Casolaga Premier League match day number 19, where Highlanders are leading at home against fierce rivals Dynamos. The penalty came in the 42nd minute, and it was scored by Benjamin Adigan, giving Highlanders the advantage as they went into the half-time break. We are now about to return for the last 45 minutes, where we believe a lot of changes are going to be made tactically, and also about personnel who's going to be introduced. But a lot happening in those dressing rooms in regards to what the managers did say to the players. And I think you also have your own sentiments about what would Benjani be doing getting into the second half. Is this going to remain compact as we saw instructing his players? And for Genesis Mangombe, we has taken off Wisdom Mumtasa. Who's about to take off Wisdom Mumtasa, rather. And introducing Telmo Pio. How is he going to approach the second half?
Yeah, for Highlanders, I think they would want to go for a second goal. I think they know very well what happened in the first game. And a single goal is probably not going to be enough. And for Dynamos, I think they already made that attacking substitution with Kasondo coming through. So Kenneth Mangobe probably not changing any of his tactics. And I would feel that many Dynamos fans would feel like Highlanders were very lucky to be awarded that penalty, judging on what we saw on the replays. Probably not much contact to give Chuma the penalty. And Dynamos will have all the confidence that they can get back into this game. It's panning out and looking like it's going to be an exciting second 45.
Well, I believe any contact to guarantee the match official to blow his whistle is contact enough to give a penalty. And I know as many who are not maybe neutrals or fans of this home team would disagree, but sometimes a penalty is a penalty. Mongameli Chuma, the man who won that penalty. Now Wisdom Mumtasa. Dynamos now coming through and lost the boy as he was about to charge forward. Now Chuma. Too powerful of a pass. He maybe played it behind Benjamin Adigun. Instead, he wanted it forward. He wanted ahead of him so that he can start running towards the goal. But the ball was played a little bit behind. Still, some fans coming through, which means those who didn't get the opportunity to watch the first half are still coming in. They want to see the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's a packed stadium tonight, as you would expect on the question of such a big game, the return fixture, you'd say. You're talking about the likes of Telmo Pio. He was among the scorers in that first game as well. And a lot is still expected from this Dynamos team that has been scoring more goals, actually scored more goals than the Highlanders itself. I think they will be very confident that they can create those chances to get back in the game.
Brighton Chimani hesitant to blow his whistle, almost thought that a stoppage in play was going to issue a foul. Wisdom Mtasa with that pass that really found no one. Isaac Landu for Dynamos, setting it forward. Perfect Chikwende with an overhead kick. And the ball goes straight to Aaron Gwenya. Slow start to the second half. Shenje failing to control the ball, and he has conceded a throw in.
No, except for those last few 15 minutes of the first half, I think the game had literally died down in that first half before we saw that a flurry of attacks from Highlanders leading to that penalty. On the other hand, Dynamos did create a few chances towards the end. And you would really want to see more of the same in the second half. Kenneth Mangobe a little bit edgy and keeping his eyes on the play. Lirio Mafunga, one of the key creative players for Dynamos. We did see Abe Kwadizo in very few games as well, overlapping on the other flank. Does whip in a very good cross with his left foot. Probably the key game changers in this Dynamos team.
So a free kick is about to be taken. Maybe is it going to be the right foot of Wisdom Mtasa or the left of Abu Gatizo? Now Wisdom Mtasa playing it through. It almost thought from this angle it was going into the back of the net, but I think Dynamos have won themselves a corner kick. It's always a deceiving angle sometimes. The ball is kicked high in the end, you'd think it's going back into the goalkeeper's net. And I think Dynamos have been allowed to retake that corner kick. Darlington and Cooley just having a conversation with Brighton Chimene. It's probably about how the players are supposed to handle themselves in that penalty box and in that 18 area. As Leo Mavunga waits to deliver that corner. Taken. Wisdom Mumtasa. I tried to be cheeky with that, but there was not real venom on it to cause any sorts of problems for the defenders in Aaron Wenger.
Yeah, it's a decent start for Dynamos in the second half. Still only 5 minutes played, but they've had the majority of possession so far, trying to be creative with it. They know the importance of getting back into this game as early as they can.
Wisdom Mumtasa starting to show some signs of life. Wasn't really that visible in the first half. Maybe the moment you realize that you might soon be replaced by Telmo Pio, started playing with a little bit of urgency. Mongameli Chuma playing Highlanders through, but the offside flag was raised. Good quick play from Mongameli Chuma. Didn't let the ball to rest as he was trying to play Nyamono through. If only it had been a perfect pass and a perfect run from the passer and the receiver. Crossfield pass. Well, the passing has become increasingly difficult for Dynamos so far since coming into the second half. It almost shows you how defensively sound Highlanders have been. Quite compact as Benjani Marwaru was instructing as we were about to get to the second half. And trying to get through defenders, Mongameli Chuma, and loses the ball in the process. Abel Guatizo. And we're now seeing constant misplaced passes from either side, but with the majority of the lost possession going to Dynamos. Komisai Mandive believing that was not a throw-in for Highlanders. At this stage, the ball really doesn't belong to anyone. Abel Guatizo standing firm.
Yeah, it's turning into a tactical one here. I think Benjani Marwaru knows exactly what he wants from his boys. And I think he would also know that 1-0 lead is always the most dangerous one. You really don't want to turn it to another draw if a Highlanders fan. They've had many of those already in the season.
Well, at some point, they were the leading team with the most draws in the season. They currently have, I believe, 10 draws to their name. Well, the good thing is they weren't losing games as much. Now, Perfect Chikwende are playing it through. There's an open Frank Akiaman. And he equalizes for the Glamour boys. He takes his tally to 9. And there's just not stopping Frank Akiaman. Straight to where the Dynamos fans are. And Mpilo Hand erupts in joy.
Wow. We were almost expecting this goal to come in as early as it could in the first half. But this goal is all made by Perfect Chikwende, laying it off cleanly to Agiaman, who does the rest. But from the moment he picked it up in the middle of the park, Perfect Chikwende, a good drive, beating one or two defenders and markers in the middle of the field before laying off a perfect pass to Agyeman, who strokes it home into the back of the net to equalize for Dynamos. And it's game on here.
It's never a question of quality when it comes to perfect Chikwende. Probably no wonder why Genesis Mangombe chose him to start. It is because of his creativity, but that he has been trusted to start this afternoon. And with that run from the middle, found Frank Agyeman, who was alone and had the easiest job to do for any centre forward. Now it's game on at Bumperfield, 1-1. And you'd expect the game to come to life with the scores now tied. So Wisdom Tassa will eventually come off for Telmo Pio. For Telmo Pio, the last time these two teams played, came on as a second half substitute and scored in the 46th minute. But this is Bumperfield. It has been a fortress. Not so many teams have been finding it easy to score. Are his shooting boots going to work is the question. Now Highlanders are trying to respond quickly. They ought to. They have to. So many fans here want them to.
Yeah, I think the game has just come to life. It's a very good start for Dynamos in the second half. Being able to score that equalizer early was always going to be key to how this game pans out. And perfect Chikwende did it perfectly with that mazy run from the midfield to lay it off to Agyeman. We had the easiest job to just stroke it home and equalize for Dynamos. Quite a similar picture that we have seen in their previous games as well, and how they've been able to play Agyeman playing much more on the right flank. A good equalizer from the Glamour boys.
So now Leroy Mafunga spreading more to the left, where Abel Batizu was just making that overlapping run. Chikwende is trying to find Telmo Pio. Now Benjamin Adegung is looking for Mongameli Chuma. Overcooked for him.
Yeah, probably the wrong choice. I think there was another player on the left flank who was in better space. Now the game beginning to open up a little bit because of the teams back on level terms. I don't think any of these two teams will be settling for a 1-1 draw. Probably more goals coming through. I think Genesis Mangombe was always believing that they had it in them to get the equalizer.
So with this equalizer, Dynamos have scored the same amount of goals as the log leaders Scotland at this point. They now have 27 as to 27 goals scored each. Despite the many draws, they do know how to find the back of the net, Dynamos. At a moment of confusion,
Andrew Bemba and Perfect Chikwende. I think it was Genesis Mangombe getting in between. And Chikwende says, don't worry, it's all right. Smiling as he is after that perfect assist to Agyeman.
So now Prince Lovu decides to play forward. A wayward pass, finding no receiver in the process. Trying to keep hold of the ball, the centre back. Shadrack Nyawa to Telmo Pio. Almost lost his footing, the newly introduced player. Over the course of history, this game has been nothing short of amazing. It has given us perfect moments. Stars have graced this football pitch. Encounters have been made and they've been memorable. Good players, good memories as well. And it continues to live up to the billing. Doesn't matter where these two teams are at the log table or where they are after 19 games. it's always that one game that so many people, even the neutrals, will be looking forward to watch. This is the tradition they do talk about, but it's difficult to take it away from history, and it will forever stay in Zimbabwe football history. And the moment that they thought Benjamin Adigan was through, but he was a little bit offside, they touched too soon with the ball, and just maybe.
Yeah, I think probably a tight call from the linesman. When you're talking about the importance of this game, it really doesn't read into positions on the log table. But the irony now is these two teams, really nothing to separate them this season on the log table.
No, Leroy Mavunga was trying to play to Abel Gwatidzo, but couldn't read the traffic that was there on the left. Perfect Chikwende coming in and applying his defensive duties. No, it's all about what you leave on the field of play now. And Brighton Chimene has stopped play. It's becoming more heated, this fixture. And a yellow card is about to be brandished.
Yeah, I think the referee has to step in here and tone down the temperatures a little bit. Probably not the first incident that we have seen in a few previous minutes, and the fourth official has to also step in to try and help the referee and keep an eye on who's doing what.
Darlington Mkuli seems to have a problem with Leroy Mavunga.
Yeah, I was just about to say the captain also has to lead by example. I think Benjamin Adigan also he has his hand pulled there.
No, of course, the cries are justified from Darlington Mkuli. So he then gets a yellow card.
Yeah, I think it's more about his reaction than anything else. I don't think the referee got a chance to see that pull,
of course.
And his complaints and the way he went to the referee led him to getting the yellow card.
So Neva Raushi now being introduced after 62 minutes. He scored at Rufaro Stadium in matchday number 2 when Highlanders did the traveling to Harare. And now he has been introduced again by Benjamin Wairwari. I think Benjamin Adigang is quite unfortunate to get that yellow card. Pio. So Prince Lovu has been taken off. Was amazing in the first half.
Yeah, it does come in as a substitution in other games as well, Prince Lovu. I think it's been much more effective that way in previous games in the past. It does have a lot of pace on him.
So Roy Nyamono doing quite well. Mungameli Chuma not alerted of the defenders that were just coming behind him. Rain Sampavari and Perfect Chikwende considered foul. Well, frustration is starting to kick in for those two teams. The fluidity of the game has been taken away with those start-stops. And usually frustrates when things are not going your way. So Tawanda Shenji posts it forward. Abel Gwatidzo with a long clearance. Abel Gwatidzo being pulled by Royan Nyamono. And I think another yellow card is going to be brandished again, where it's become a moment of yellow cards. This is that earlier incident, and like we're saying, frustration is starting to build up. At this moment, you also expect a lot of heavy legs, and also contributes to this. And remember, it's a fierce rivalry, so some of these things are bound to happen.
Yeah, I think the frustrations have been spilling out of control in some moments, and the stuff stops. We did see that as well in the first half, where the game had slowed down a little bit because of that.
Pressure was being kept on Isaac Landu. I decided to play it safe. Now Rain Sampawari. A good pass. And decides to send it back. Recycling play. Mbeba. Back to Shenji. No more Nyerere.
No, any chances of it playing out to a 2-0 draw again, like the Faro Stadium and back?
Well, we did see goals in the last minutes of the game. And in this big fixture, anything can happen. And the free kick goes the opposite direction. When Highlanders well thought that they were well on course to attack in the final third. And those are a lot of disgruntled fans.
Well, judging from that, I think he did go in harshly.
Well,
did get some of the ball.
Well, the foul first came on.
I think that will be the question.
On Mongameli Chuma. Initially, I thought.
No, the referee did let play continue. But if we were to talk about the second incident, I think that's why Chuma is telling the referee the inconsistence is they probably not going down well with the Highlanders faithful.
Now, of course. No, it was a moment where maybe Brighton Chimene thought the foul on Mongameli Chuma was soft. But then when you ignore such a call and then moments later you give the foul in the opposite direction, it bounds to stir up some emotions. Now, if anything, we want the game to finish smoothly as it started. And we're hoping it does get to the finishing line without any problems. There has been a good encounter so far. Mongameli Chuma with one of the greatest passes so far in this game. But the defense has been heavy as well. Benjani Wariwari together with his assistant Mkokeli. Now Shenji. Now Highlanders almost through. But Tatenda Makoni was quick to clear his lines, commanding that penalty box. Now Shadrick Nyaw, the skipper, not aware that there's a player coming in from the offside position. So 68 minutes have gone by as we are edging closer to the game of Matchday, to the end of Matchday number 19 at Bubblefield Stadium. Now still whipping his way through, Telmo Pio. Cross into the box and safe for Aaron Gwenya. Now they can go on the counter charge. Benjamin Ajigun was alone. Good pass again. Now it's a 3v3 situation. And he decides to take it from range.
Yeah, probably not the best decision that time around. It did have some players in the box. I think he probably should have tried to put in a cross into the box. And from that range and that angle, you're never going to trouble the goalkeeper. And this is what the game has been turning into.
Maybe the call here is handball. Now Mongameli Chuma in opposition territory. Danger area, but is well marked. Rowan Nyamono. We're also waiting for support. He finds it. No perfect ball dinked in. Now Highlanders have an opportunity. And I think they have been flagged for offside.
Yeah, a little bit of a worse day from Highlanders. I think Chuma, when you got on the break, you didn't get any support whatsoever. No movements in the box. Really not pushing so many players forward, Highlanders. And on that second attempt, unfortunately, they were offside. Getting much of the chances now, Highlanders trying to find the second goal and trying to get back on the lead again.
Mongameli Chuma. There's really been a bright spark for Highlanders in the second half. Everything good has been coming through him or from him. And this is the quality he exudes if he grows into the game. Benjani Wariwari, on most occasions, the Nani doesn't look phased. You never anticipate what he's really giving off as compared to his opposition manager, very animated on the byline, the Genesis Magombe.
Yeah, probably feeling the chilly weather as well as we get to the last 20 minutes of the game. I think it has been a fair game altogether. Probably Highlanders a little bit on top in terms of how they've played in the second half.
Rain Sampavari. A good turn to Peters Maka. Now we'll try to charge. Jairus Kasondo. I think he'll be flicked for foul. There's too many hands involved. Oh, now every other team is trying to get into the final third quickly. Mongameli Chuma looking for a pass. He does play to Rain Nyamono. Good cross into the box, and Mongameli Chuma. When the goal was smiling at him, and all he had to do was smile back, and he flopped his chance. Could have been 2 for Highlanders.
Yeah, it's a big miss from Chuma. And there's nothing really you can say about that chance than just to bury it into the back of the net. The goalkeeper spilling it out, and literally from probably half a meter away from goal, Chuma just had to hit the back of the net. Fortunately, that's a huge chance for Highlanders, a game-changing chance missed by Chuma.
A good chance that has gone begging for Mongameli Chuma. But we have seen him on so many occasions in the past games, especially was it Ngezi, where you went round the keeper and then failed to bury the chance. But in a big game like this, these are the games that are decided by such moments.
Yeah, you almost feel sorry for him, judging from how well he has played this afternoon. Probably the creative mindset and how Highlanders have been playing key actually, and that was his moment to score probably one of his, which was going to be probably one of the most important goals he has scored. In a very crucial moment of the game, you need a well-composed player in that moment to be able to bury such an easy chance. If you make a hash of it, it goes over the bar, and that's exactly what it happened that time along.
Well, in a game that it is difficult to break the defensive line, when you get opportunities like this, the initial thought is to bury them. But such wasn't for Mongameli Chuma. But with the way that he's playing, probably he might engineer something.
Yeah, I almost feel like Dynamos have been left off the hook now with that missed opportunity. They would have known that that could have been 2-1 easily. Now, we still do have a chance here, for making Highlanders pay for missing such a golden opportunity.
So it's an open game, end-to-end, high-octane encounter. It would try to be played through by Andrew Weber, but it was a soft pass. Chuma was looking for Neva Rauji.
Oh, I can just see Chuma saying to his teammates, I don't see those runs anymore. It's almost as if going forward, they're a little bit reluctant to go through with the support.
And it feels like Dynamos have lapsed a little bit, and they would want to get back on that front foot again.
Yeah, that still feels like Highlanders are still on top in terms of chance creation. It looks like they want it more.
Now Perfect Chikwende allowed to roam through the midfield alone without facing any traffic. Continued with this run at Perfect Chikwende. Now Lere Mafunga lurking behind Andrew Beba. was not alert to the danger that Leroy Mafunga was bringing from the far side. Sneaky.
Yeah, sneaky from Mafunga coming from behind. Bemba lucky to get away with that one. Only a corner. That could have been a painful one for the defender there if Leroy could have managed to sneak in and got to the ball.
So now Leroy Mafunga floats one in. Had it away before a throw in. Still deep within enemy territory. 6 corners as compared to 4. Highlanders have had the majority of those.
No, I was just looking at the Highlanders bench and the fans. None of them could believe that Chuma didn't manage to convert that chance. Almost a pause of disbelief for a moment there from the rest of the ground in terms of Highlander supporters. I think they thought that was the moment, and it looked easier to actually score than to miss from there.
Still remains 1-1 as we are left with almost 14 minutes of normal regulation time, of course, with what the fourth official will raise. And that will be done for matchday number 19, which has been quite exciting. Tawanda Shenji checking his time. Dynamos almost waiting in anticipation. It's almost like they're waiting for a mistake more than they want to press. Strong from Benjamin Adigun. Misplaced pass. But Nyamono decides to go where there's a lot of traffic. Surprising decision from Nyamono. I thought he was going to start getting in between or play the pass in the middle.
Yeah, there was a clear pass there to the middle, and we did see that happening in the first half for Highlanders as well. Almost trying to play the most difficult pass than the easier one, and the fans really aggrieved by that choice. I could understand the frustration coming from the fans.
Another stoppage in play by Brighton Chimene as Frank Egeman has gone down to the ground. Well, since scoring has been a little bit quiet, the service hasn't really been coming to him. Well, when it's end-to-end action, sometimes a certain group of players are left behind in all the action. Chuma finds Nyamono, back to Chuma again. He's trying to apply Benjamin Adigun through. Would have worked had it been successful, that pass. Oh, such is his mind. He always goes for the fancy pass. Offside. That was from a mile away. You could spot it too.
Yeah, clear one that time around. No questions asked. The Highlanders are still pushing. It looks like Dynamos would feel like they can create a chance or two on the counter and try to break some Highlanders' hearts. No, almost going into the last 10 here tonight. It's been a wonderful watch, but if it was going to end like this, I think it will be another good opportunity missed by Highlanders, and another draw looking like it's coming again.
Kushen for Telmo Pio is trying to play it back, but concedes possession. Now Highlanders will go on the counter charge.
Yeah, going for another difficult pass that time around, when they could have chosen to build it a little bit patiently, I think would be the word.
So it feels like there's a substitution that is going to be made. So it's the captain, Darlington Mkuli, together with Raymond Nyamono and Mongameli Chuma that have come off. And Shepard and Klanga will come on. And Kudakwashe Mahachi, who started the majority of the games in the first half of the season, And there's Mongameli Chuma. Kurakwasha Maachi, who was playing most of the games as a wing-back, a left wing-back. So Maachi, Mhlanga, and Mhlanga again. May have come on for Highlanders. So it's Shepard Mhlanga and Lawrence Mhlanga together with Kurakwasha Maachi, the three newly introduced players, to play this last 10 minutes.
Yeah, looks like Highlanders are probably going for that final push, bringing in the purse of Maachi. I think they still believe that they can make something happen here. Nyamono did play decently well.
So last 9 minutes of this big game. Leroy Mavunga. Dynamos charging forward. He's trying to play through, but Leroy Mavunga was wide open. Now Mhlanga. Now Nevarauji. Beaten to the ball by Tatenda Makoni. The first time we have seen him go on his speed. He has been restricted from running. Had already gone to the ball quickly.
Yeah, good from the substitutes there. Makoni, he made his decision and came off his line and was sure to get to it first.
Kurakwasha Maachi trying to deliver, but still with possession by Highlanders. And the ball gets to Brighton Chimene, who intercepts play, and that will go for a drop ball.
Yeah, good combinations from the substitutes. Rauji involved as well. I think you can actually see that Highlanders still think that is their game to win. I mean, that has been much of the frustration for Highlanders fans, because in many of those games they've been able to create the chances, but they've missed some huge chances in the past. You would remember also in the game against Ngezi Plan themselves, they were probably the team creating more chances. And that game again that they lost against Taiwan, there were so many big chances again in that game which they had missed. And the end result, when it goes the other way, it's very frustrating for the fans and also for the coach, Benjani. And you can almost say the same for this game as well. Probably the better of the two teams, and they've had that big chance which they missed, which could have been, that goal for the second.
So it's all about conversion of chances. So Tatenda Makoni being treated by the medical team gives Genesis Mangome a chance to talk to Abu Batizo and Shadrack Nyawa, the captain. Abu Batizo really hasn't made those touching runs on the flank.
And you can see this faces of expectation tonight. And the fans, they've long expected Iboso to deliver. They've had a decent season so far, and it almost feels like it could have been better if only some of those chances have been converted.
So last 6 minutes, Andrew Weber restarts play.
We end up feeling like a draw ends up feeling like a defeat most of the times, and because of that as well. But I think Dynamos have played so well so far, probably scoring the best of the two goals, especially after that creative play from Chikwende. We gave it to Agiman, who converted it.
And of course, Benjamin was pretty distant and quite visible. Highlanders, Benjamin Adegun. So there was a confirmation of the scores. Benjamin Adegun with a penalty at the end of the first 42 minutes, and Prague Agiemeng 10 minutes after restart from the half-time break.
Two internationals doing the work.
Don't you just love to see it?
Now, just a story about how the Casablanca Premiership has been evolving rather in terms of attracting that international talent.
No, it's a West African thing here at Baba Fields. Frank Egeman for Ghana and Benjamin Adegun for Nigeria. They've both found the net. Now Demera has been introduced. Off comes Frank Egeman together with Leroy Mavunga. And Ezio Perez also comes on.
Yeah, good from Egeman as well as Leroy Mavunga. They've been effective in this game. And Egeman, as a striker, he always wanted to do the key job, which is to score, and he has been able to do that.
So Andrew Weber delivers one, but doesn't beat the second man on the wall. No more Chinyerere. With time almost running out, Kudakwashe Mahachi cutting inside, but decides to play it back. Decides to go the safety route. And now left alone, and the offside flag is up. Well, 9 goals he has so far. Is now tied with Rayof Kawandere. And that's Leroy Mavunga as well. They've done their beating.
Yeah, 2 key goal contributors for Dynamos this season so far. Unfortunately, they won't be able to see the end of this game. With only a few minutes remaining. Is there something? Is there a chance for any of these two?
Loose pass. No, Benjamin Adegun. Landry going down in excruciating pain, is holding his wrist.
Well, it's difficult to see what happened here.
No.
Deliberately stepped on him. You could see Landry then just went down holding his chest. Nothing had happened on him, to be honest.
It almost feels like Benjamin Adegun was really aware of what he was doing.
I think we could have video assistant technology here. We could be seeing plenty of yellow or red cards on many of these players.
Well, looks like there's been a high boot, but no card. And that is exactly what Shadrack Nyawa is telling to Brighton Chimene. And it's on the newly introduced Perezio.
Yeah, probably a surprise how he...
Perez, rather.
Yeah, he gets off without a yellow there.
So almost to the end of this game, which might end up being a stalemate as we saw at Rufaro Stadium at the beginning of the season in Matchday 2. The difference is maybe in that game there were 4 goals scored, 2 apiece. Abel Gwatidzo floats one in. And Aaron Ngwenya has gone down to the ground holding his head. Maybe a collision with his teammate.
Yeah, it looks like we came off the worst of the two. Aaron Ngwenya. As we just see on the replay, as he went up to collect the ball, and collision with his own player. And I do feel like Highlanders would feel like this was the 3 points for them. They played decently well in the second half as well, despite conceding early from that wonderful goal from Dynamos.
So 4 minutes is the confirmed minimum addition as we are now in the dying embers of this game. Nevarauji. And they thought they had won a corner. And I think Breton Chimene has overturned it.
Yeah, yes, definitely. He has overturned it to give it the corner to Highlanders. And the fans were definitely not happy with that decision.
Wow. Let's look at the replay.
Clearly bounces off Abogatizo there, to be honest.
Well, Nevarauji was never going to let that go without him protesting. And that is Andrew Weber still.
Well, I think Andrew should just go on with the corner kick. You're in the last 4 minutes. You continue arguing with the linesman. You're wasting the time.
Especially if you're driving towards a late winner. The dead ball specialist, Andrew Weber. Does he have anything in his arsenal? In additional time. Oh, not the perfect direction that he would have wanted, or the connection. The ball to have, as they were gunning for a last goal, or last minute goal from Nevarauji.
Yeah, I think it came from a deflection. Rauji wasn't expecting it to come to him. And that moment was a difficult one, trying to dig it out and direct it towards goal. Well, I would definitely say they did have that golden chance, which was probably their chance for them. And for Dynamos, they would know that there goes way with them in that moment to be able to at least get something for this game.
Now Benjamin Adigun was fighting for that corner, and they have won it. And Weber with the dead ball again. And this time there's a lot of expectation from him, or from the fans for him.
Yeah, if they're to score from here, I think the stadium will be absolutely...
Just listen to the crowd as Andrew Weber floats one in. But Makoni floats even higher to pick it from there.
Yeah, it could have been something. You could just feel the expectation. Many of the fans up from their seats on the stands. And they did expect something from their team, who, judging from the play, probably been the best of the two. Good flight on the corner kick. The goalkeeper comes up first. Good goalkeeping from Makoni, who looks like then injures himself on the landing there. And good awareness and good tracking of the ball. And as a goalkeeper, when you come out like that, you have to be absolutely sure that you can get both hands on the ball.
So we are now in the last minute of this big game. Still tied. Man, the fan that is having probably the best view than anyone else, still with his vuvuzela.
Is it a risk-reward situation here?
High risk, high rewards is what they do say.
No, well, I wouldn't encourage any fans to be sitting on top of those advertising billboards, but it has been a packed house tonight.
Well, it's quite disappointing to see the game end up without a winner, especially when it's a full house like this. You always want to see one team become victorious. But such has been the story with these games. Many a times they've given us draws. Kudakwashe Maachi is just coming from behind. And Breton Chimene almost looked like he was checking his time. And probably the last play here from Dynamos. And with that, of course, brings the end of one of the biggest games in Zimbabwean history in terms of the Kasolaga Premier League here at Barberfield Stadium for Matchday 19. Highlanders finding the back of the net in the 42nd minute through Benjamin Adigung, and Frank Agiaman equalizing in the 55th. ends in a stalemate, 1-1 again. This season, we have no winner between these two teams. 2-2 at Ruparo Stadium and 1-1 here at Barberfield Stadium.
Yeah, there's been a very good watch tonight. Similar draws from both games with goals as well. But I think Highlanders will feel like they should have won it. Big chance for Chuma. He couldn't convert it. And Dynamos will be quite glad to go back to Harare with a point here.
So that was it. And we'll switch over to Valentine Mabugu with the post-match interviews.
Rooks, General. Indeed, what a game, what a match that we have given you this afternoon. It ends as a 1-1 draw, points shared, and of course this one it remains the same as what happened in Harare in the reverse fixture of this one. And joining me right now is the Highlanders coach Penjani. Another draw, your overall assessment of the game.
Yeah, it was a very good game. As we anticipated that a derby like this, it was fireworks. Both teams, they were willing to go forward, and I love when you watch things like this. But I just want to give to my boys, they fought a lot, considering that we didn't have much preparation. The character they showed today, not to lose this game, it was amazing.
And having said that, let's talk about the way forward now. I think now you look at the points that you have gained so far in the season. You only lost one game. What do you need to kick on to get up there as you are still seventh?
Yeah, sometimes you need to collect maximum points, and it's always difficult, as you know, that in the PSL all teams are very difficult to crack. So we'll be working to go back and work hard and try to win points in the next future.
Coach, all the best, and you share the spoils nonetheless.
Thank you.
All right, that is Coach Penjani Maruaru there with the Highlanders side drawing this afternoon. And joining me here is the Dynamos gaffer. Coach, what a game, what a match. Another lesson to come from behind to earn yourself a point. Your overall assessment of the match.
Yeah, we knew it was not going to be easy altogether. But I'm happy with the response, and also the way the boys played. Playing in BF is not that easy. We managed to come back and equalize. I think overall our second half was we managed to contain the opponents, and at the end of the day we also created some very good movements in the middle of the park through Perfect Chikwende and also through the wing play, which we are using Frank and also Leroy Mavunga. And you see, their defenders were busy, and we managed to create that chance.
Indeed, you going forward now, what is the style of play that you want to exert, looking at the players that you have and going into the window? Are you looking to bolster your squad as well?
Of course. We are working on that, and I know we are going to get the best, and we will try and make sure that we become a strong team in terms of all departments. Like when we want to circulate the ball, we know you have the right arsenal at the right time. So we are going to do that during this window.
All right, Coach, all the best, and the safe trip back to the capital.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is the Dynamos gaffer there. In that instance, this match ending in a 1-1 stalemate right here at Barberfield Stadium, Emma Kumeni. And of course, we look at right now the man of the match as well. And I'm sure they voted for the man of the match, Perfect Chikwende. What a game. Matamba Zaganaga Nasi. Tell us more. Game Rako, Naspa Magarongei. Now you looked like a man on fire.
No, thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank the Almighty. I'm excited. It was my birthday on the 19th of June. Yeah, so today, I had to work hard to please myself, to please the supporters and the viewers and the supporters of Dynamos. We want to praise them high. Yeah, so that was the plan, and fortunately we did that.
Indeed. Now you can go and celebrate the boys and Joru coaches our command arenas.
Obvious. And our coaches.
All the best, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right. That's Perfect Chikwende with the perfect match there. And of course, he is the man that created that Dynamos goal for Agbe Imam as well. And he got two. he got to give him that is the man of the match today, because he was the cog and the head for Dynamos in terms of their creativity, how he carried the ball as well, and how he brought the match in this encounter as well. So far. And of course, now we're going to be we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to be having that is the full match analysis of this encounter. That is Talu Pepe, as well as Justice Machavi as well. Talu, what a match. It ends fair and square. It's even Stevens, 1-1 it ends. Your take of this encounter?
Yeah, what a game we witnessed in this afternoon, and I think for me it was a fair result. No team really deserved to lose this one. And remember, at half time I spoke about the issue of tracking Wisdom Dasa and Perfect Chikwende. Highlanders did not track Perfect Chikwende, who is their creative midfielder, and he is the one who really destroyed Highlanders, gifting Dynamos with that with that equalizer. So 1-1, I think for me, is a fair result, and it was a good game.
Indeed, a fair result as we look at the match stats as well. And of course, more attempts from both sides. Highlanders are also going into double figures in their attempts. Justy, your prognosis of the 19 minutes before we look at team by team and look at play by play.
Electric atmosphere. You know, what a game. I think the Battle for Zimbabwe built to its expectation, and it was a good game altogether. Both teams gave it all, and we saw the players competing here, and it was good. Praise to Perfect Chikwende. We had a solid afternoon. I think he made it happen for Dynamos, especially in that equalizer. Solo run and a very good assist for Frank Ageman.
And let's talk about now, Talu, looking at Highlanders specifically, where they could have done better. Because there was a time where they had the momentum. They almost had the match on the scruff of his neck, especially when they went into the half leading as well. But they couldn't consolidate and protect their lead nonetheless.
Yeah, I think Mongameli, for me, fizzled out towards the end of the game. And they still wanted to bring in somebody creative. But looking at that bench, I thought probably they would give Rizensvanda a chance. Because, you know what, Rizensvanda has got all that kind of an energy. And for me, I think, yes, Prince Ndlovu was not really there. And Rowan was also a bit out. So the last 15 to 20 minutes, probably, maybe Brighton could have really come with an impact. And I'm not really sure why they didn't have a natural ball carrier instead of bringing wingers.
Indeed, and of course they could have really done better. The substitution being lamented here as the Achilles heel for Highlanders. Justin, let's look at Dynamos, what they could have done better to win this one. Yes, they had to come back from behind. They showed that they had it in them to really come back and get a goal, but they could have won it as well.
I think, in the first half, they didn't do well. Here and there, they tried by all means, but they were shaky in all departments. There was no compactness, and also a lot of losing position. But in the second half, they came in very good, and they did very well, especially pushing up forward in the opening 30 minutes of the second half. Later on, they ended up sitting back, and that's the strength for Highlanders, especially when you give away the corner kicks. I think a lot of mistakes at the back, here and there, but they need to correct it going forward.
Indeed, they need to correct some of their mistakes as well. Let's talk about the man of the match as well, Perfect Chikwende, and how he managed, to carry Dynamos to a point here. It could have been even 3 if they were a bit lucky.
Yeah, it's very important to have such a player because he's supposed to carry the team. And this is why I spoke about him at half time, because he's a very key player. And you know what? He's very creative. He's got speed. He's got skill. So, yeah, very critical player. So, Mongameli Chuma, for me, was supposed to be the one tracking him. Either Mongameli Chuma or Prince Ndlovu were supposed to track him, but they did not. And unfortunately, Darlington Munkuli and Racing Pawari also did not give cover. So the presence of Perfect really impacted the game positively. So for me, I think, like I said, it was a fair result because it was a game of two halves. Dynamos really took control in the second half for probably 15 minutes, and Highlanders also maybe fizzling out towards the end of the match.
Indeed, as we see other results from other centres, it was Hard Rock that are keeping the chase and keeping pace with Scotland, the log leaders, after their emphatic 4-0 victory over ZPC Kariba in that encounter. Also, at Sakuba Stadium, it ended. That is Manika Diamonds 1 and FC Platinum 1 as well in that encounter. And Triangle being beaten at home by Chicken by 1-2 in that other results coming through from the Gibo. And here it ended in a stalemate, 1-0. It ended. Justin, let's look at the play-by-play, looking at the two coaches in terms of their substitution. We saw a surprise substitution coming through from Dynamos early on. Yes, it did disrupt them a bit, but also when they brought in the second half substitute, especially when Tamo Pio came in, it looked like he stabilized the ship and they had control and he was fighting for the ball in the middle of the park.
Yeah, first and foremost, Genesis, he had made a very big mistake by pulling out Anotida. I think it was not necessary. The missing link in this game was Mutasa Wisdom. I think he didn't click. Anotida was doing a little bit better. Wisdom didn't click. I think that's where he needed to look into his game. I think he also he had to destroy his game plan, especially in that moment. Nevertheless, they came back in the second half, especially when the introduction of Pio, it gave some breath in the midfield.
And of course, we look at the highlights right now. That penalty from Highlanders, Mongameli winning it, and also converted by the Nigerian Ortegan in that encounter as well. Beautifully taken penalty. Though it gives you the nerves, isn't it? You need to be very precise, hitting the roof of the net as well.
Yeah, that's a good penalty, and with the magnitude of this player, Benjamin, I think he is someone who is very skillful, and of course, he would pocket in. You knew, obviously, Tatenda is very good in penalties. You have seen all the success for Dynamos in the cup games. He's been always in goals and saving penalties, So I think he knew that's why he had to put it a little bit up so that it's beyond reach.
And of course, the Dynamos goal, what a creation from Perfect Chikwende, perfect pass to Frank Ogman, and he had to bury that one, and it neatly tucked in there by Dynamos to get their equalizer. Let's look at the Dynamos equalizer, the role that Perfect Chikwende played as well in carrying that ball, finding the right pass at the right time, and no mistake from Frank.
Yeah, look, like I said, he was a very key player, and I've worked with Perfect Chikwende for some time, and I know his ability. This is why I spoke about him. And I think Highlanders did not really do their homework there because they were supposed to assign somebody to Wisdom Mutasa and Perfect Chikwende. But also their structure was not okay. Lakma Mutumbi was supposed to close, that left side because you cannot allow players of that caliber space and time because they are going to punish you. So I think the structure was not really okay, and the tracking was not on point. But this is what you expect. Senior players like Perfect Chikwende will make sure you pay for a mistake like that. So maybe going forward, the takeaway would be defensively they need to observe those defensive principles and always maintain the shape. And also, I think the keeper for me is the one who will be seeing the picture unfolding. So he's the one who's supposed to marshal that defense. And I don't think he did that. But what a beautiful goal from Dynamos.
Indeed, a beautiful goal from Dynamos as we look at also some of the stats. And let's talk about the acceptance by the fans to understand the result. Yes, there were moments where they got really frustrated because of some decisions, but fairly they well behaved.
I think they were more disciplined. Traditionally, this is how it is. Most of the time, you find sometimes the bottles on the field. It's normal, but what is very bad is violence. There was no violence, and I think also credit. You can see also the security was there, and for the fans it was good. Each and every bay was rising up and enjoying themselves. It's good for the game of football. You all need that. You can see Highlanders supporters, they're still in the stadium, they're singing and doing a lot of things, dancing, which is very good. They appreciate, the game was good as well. It lived to its expectation.
Indeed, and let's talk about the realistic chances of these two sides rising up from the positions that they find themselves in, Talu, because you know, there's a lot of greater expectation from them, because they are two of the biggest and oldest clubs within the league itself, and people love to see them do quite well.
Most definitely, like I said, the beginning of the afternoon, I said Dynamos and Highlanders are the torch bearers of Zimbabwean football. Yes, some people might think otherwise, but they've got a big following. So the expectation is very high. The pressure on the players is very high. But I think our problem in Zimbabwe basically has been creativity in the final third and being clinical in front of goal. That we are also seeing almost week in, week out. But for me, I think the players really, you know, tried their level best. Kasondo, for me, did not really rise up to the occasion. I expected him to do a bit better. But also, the midfield, we need to have creative players. You know, the caliber of Perfect Chikwende, who can go and carry the ball from the defensive midfielders and give a proper pass to the forwards. And the issue of runs, I don't seem to be seeing a lot of runs in our football. So I hope the coaches are noticing this and they'll be able to deal with it. But also, heads off to the match officials. I think they control the game very well. And also the security details did a very splendid job. Yeah. Nothing really untoward that we saw. All we saw is a beautiful game and missed chances.
Indeed, of course, they were there. The K9 dogs were so there, and everybody making sure that the game becomes as beautiful as it's supposed to be. A family game where everyone gets to enjoy, and that's their role. As you can see, them are now duty done, and I'm sure they can go and relax and have a good time nonetheless. Let's talk about Hard Rock. 4-0 winning that game as well, keeping pace with Scotland. That should be some big competition coming through at the top there.
Unbelievable, you know. I think at Roko they're utilizing the home advantage, you know. Every time when you get that chance, you know, you have to beg in the goals. You know, they will matter most towards the end of the season. But you know, as they are, it's a new team in the league, but they've mastered it. I think they've got a very good coach as well. In Kevin Kayindo, we all know the capabilities, and obviously, you know, they want to win. They are looking and gunning for the championship.
Indeed, they're gunning for the championship as well, and it shall be an interesting race nonetheless. Talu, let's look at you know, the season itself. We also see Manika Diamonds now not losing matches, now drawing and winning some of them. And today, the drew against FC Platinum. We know FC Platinum, they've been inconsistent nonetheless, because I'm sure the gaffer is still new, and this is his first season, still trying to string up some, you know, combinations and get the right kind of combinations, as well as looking ahead to the window. We will have to touch on that as well.
Yeah, you see personnel changes at Manika Diamonds have really brought a positive result for them. If you start picking up points like that, who knows, maybe they might just survive. But for me, FC Platinum also, I think going forward, they have to look for a striker, because they create a lot of chances, but they fail to put them away. And I think I've been following them for 3 or 4 games, and this has always been their problem. They are getting into the final third, but that goal is eluding them. So I think during this window, they're supposed to look for a prolific striker. I don't know where they're going to find it, because usually in terms of mid-season, all good players are, you know, are taken away. Yeah. So probably they will have to rely on their junior development, which I think most teams are supposed to have a vibrant junior development, so that these kind of problems, when they come in, you can always look for players in your youth development. Also look at Highlanders. Not really having impact players for this, for this kind of game. Yes, you would have risen, you would have probably Brighton Mube and maybe Isaac Ngoma, but you really need a player who can carry the game and you know what, drive the team from the bench.
Just let's talk about the Triangle being beaten at home by Chicken Inn today. Is this the sign, the telltale sign that this could see them, you know, not surviving relegation this time around? Last season they did survive, but this time around is looking totally indifferent for them.
Last season, you know, Valentine, they survived with the whisker, you know, the last day of the league. And coming into this season, I think from the beginning, they haven't been at their best, and they haven't been doing well. And of course, you know, here and there changing coaches, it's difficult, you know. I don't know what formula, what is going to happen there at Triangle. It's going to be something difficult, you know, for them throughout, and hopefully, you know, maybe after July they will start picking up the points, or maybe they'll bring in new players. But I think it's difficult there. Everyone is winning against them, and it shows that there are some weaknesses in the team, and at the same time they're not strong enough to compete. You can see the week in, week out, their results are very negative.
Gentlemen, let's talk about the window that will be opening on the 1st of July as well. Of course, I've had qualms with why is it opening, some 2-3 games into the second half of the season. You would expect it, mid-season. That's way when you're making that 10, you also open the window so that at least you give them half of the game for the season for the new players who are coming in.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel the window is supposed to open a bit earlier than now, because in terms of planning purposes, we are already on game 19. So game 20, things are getting tough, and those teams that are in trouble need to beef up their squads. So for now, I think the issues are going to be very difficult, and they need to really bank on their youth development. And to be pretty honest, most teams don't really have that kind of a vibrant junior development. Maybe say Fongezi Platinum, who got a ban in terms of signing players, but look at where they are. So the issue of youth development is very, very key. And I think going forward, most teams are supposed to have the reserve side of old, where anytime you can just tap in from those, from that reserve side, because as it is right now, it's very difficult to get strikers or midfielders that can come and beef up the squad. Division 1 is very active, and most players have got long contracts. Premier League have got long contracts. So yeah, it's a very, very difficult situation.
Indeed, it's a conversation that we're going to continue with as we build up to that new window. Which team needs what in what department as well? Well, gentlemen, I must thank you very much for joining us as well. It's always a pleasure having you around.
Thank you, Valentine, and I think we'll watch many games, especially like this one, the one we watched here. Also with the crowd behaving very well, it gives us, a better picture in terms of what we want to improve as a nation in football.
And Dalu, we call you our host as well, and we must thank you very much for the time we have spent together here in the city of Bulawayo. And of course, the weather, not too kind, but for us presenters, but kind for the players.
The weather changing. So yeah, it means there was a big game in the city. So obviously the weather was supposed to change. So I must thank all the viewers and all the supporters who came to support the game. And this is a true reflection of our football in the country. And you know what? The players did well. They gave it their all. Yes, the result was 1-1. I think for me, a scoring draw is better than a nil-all draw.
So there you have it. Let me thank our producers, Beben Surai, Stuart Shuriwa, Tinashe Manyoni. Thank you very much from myself, Valentine Mabugu, and the crew behind the scenes. It's bye-bye and happy viewing on ZBC TV.
This June, step into a bigger entertainment experience with more to love on us. We're talking more drama, more action, more unforgettable stories, all waiting for you.
All hands on deck.
We're opening up our world of entertainment so you can view more.
Good job, partner.
This June, pay for your current DSTV subscription and we'll upgrade you at no extra cost.